Lemon had a lot of injury problems. Kings Lynn Knights in the red and the blue helmet colours, Oxford Cheetahs in the white and yellow and black, and the white race jackets for Oxford, the black for Kings Lynn. And away they go, and it's Todd Wiltshire and Jason Crump battling on the inside, problems at the back, but coming through in blue, a brilliant ride by Travis McGowan to make it 1 and 2 for Kings Lynn. And the Knights fans will love this. This was a great turn there from Travis McGowan, but Jason Crump safe and sure out front and looking world class.
Yeah, he is. Just look how tight Jason's riding, right down low on those corners. The grip's all there right now, and Jason seems to be going really quick, but his mate Travis McGowan is following him, and that's a great result there right now.
Amazing ride by Travis McGowan to get inside and past Todd Wiltshire there. But now the Kings Lynn riders benefiting from their home track knowledge and benefiting from sheer speed down that back straight. And it's going to be very interesting to see this time, Peter, because you predicted that Jason Crump could beat the track record, and he's flying with Travis McGowan in support now. And it's looking fast and furious. They're extending that lead on Todd Wiltshire. And certainly, for my money, Jason Crump here looking very, very fast. In second place, Travis McGowan in blue. Todd Wiltshire will take the consolation point in third place in white, and that's a 5-1 scoreline to the home team Kings Lynn to get us underway. The thumbs up from Jason Crump. A fantastic ride by Jason Crump, and he certainly enjoyed taking the checkered flag on his first ride back here for some while.
Mate. Yeah, probably not quite 100% yet, but certainly closer than I was, a week ago. And as time goes on, I'm going to get fitter and fitter, which is a positive thing.
You know, you sort of spun up a little bit off the start there and had a bit of a bump with Todd going to the first corner.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't quite in front of me enough to try and come across. I mean, I don't blame what he did, but when you've got gate 1 in heat 1, it's always a positive, as most people know, and you can kind of dictate the corner if you only need to get that level with the other guy, and you can do what you want. So I'm happy with that, and Trav tucked in behind me nicely, and on the kind of, when I looked around and saw it was him, I just moved out and gave him the inside run so he didn't get too filled in, and good way to start, but I'm sure Oxford aren't finished yet.
You're comfortable with your start and the setup? Is it okay, or is there any changes you'd make?
Yeah, Kelvin was right. I did spin up a little bit from the word go, but maybe just shorten the wheelbase up a little bit. I think will be make it a little bit better from the gate.
All right, we'll let you get back to the...
For Oxford in white. Steve Masters goes in red for Kings Lynn from gate 2. Gate 3, the younger of the two rather, Dremel brothers, Lucas, he goes from gate 3. On the outside, Tom Madsen in blue for the home side. This heat number 2. And for Kings Lynn, leading by 5 points to 1. Up right the tapes and away we go. And in red, Steve Masters is beaten to that first bend by the Dremel brothers, and this is great for Oxford. But Lucas Dremel locks up. So too do the other two. He retains the lead there, and still it's the Oxford pair in front. A chapter of errors, Peter, on that first bend.
Yeah, certainly. But again, look at the Dremel brothers there. Like I say, this track is a very, very good race track, more like what they're used to on the continent, and certainly the way they've set up in this race is just unbelievable.
Anything could have happened as they came out of that first bend, but look now for Oxford. We said the reserves point counts, and these could really change the meeting, because these two youngsters, 19 and 20 years respectively, don't want to speak too soon because Lucas Dremel on that bend knocking up, but his brother Alice Dremel is extending that lead, the 20-year-old from Pardubice in the Czech Republic, and with a lap to go, it's going very much the way of the Oxford reserve pairing here, because it will tie up the meeting if this happens. It matters little which order these two finish at the back. In blue is Tom Madsen, in red is Steve Masters. But what a triumph for the Oxford reserves here. 1 in white there by Alice Dremel, his brother Lucas in second place in yellow and black. Third man in blue was Tom Madsen. That's 5 points to 1 to the visitors from Oxford.
We was preparing for this, just start and go, and we did it, and it's nice.
You got a great start though, yeah?
Yeah, I was just concentrating on the start, and it was good, and I'm happy.
Let's take a look at that start again.
That's you on the inside there, Alice. You sort of wiggled around a little bit.
Yeah, first moment I wasn't very good there, but after 15 meters I was there, and
Yeah, your bike really hooked up and drove to the first corner.
yes.
Did you see this? Because your brother nearly sort of fell off here.
Yeah, there are some places where it's too slick, and there you have problems to hold the bike. But
It's a little bit greasy underneath, yes?
Yeah,
Right.
the same.
But you didn't seem to have too much trouble. You had quite a nice smooth line all the way.
Yeah, when you are first, you can choose the line, and that's perfect.
How are you and your brother settling down now? Obviously, you haven't had the greatest of starts in terms of the points, but are you feeling much more settled with your riding?
Yeah, we had to concentrate on the tracks. You know, the tracks are big different than in Czech and Poland, but we slowly get to it, and we'll see in the next month how it goes.
All right, we'll let you get back to the pits and get...
But now Shane Parker goes for Kings Lynn from the inside in this one, heat 3. Gate 2, Steve Johnston, the man from Kalgoorlie in Western Australia, the captain of Oxford, goes from Gate 2. Gate 3, Craig Boyce, the Sydney-sider for Kings Lynn. And on the outside, Jan Steikman, the Dane, who of course rode in the first 2 years of the starting marshal. Dick Brown gets them into order. Jim Lawrence will put his finger on the button, our referee above us, and away they go. And this too promises to be a battle, because there's Craig Boyce cutting across and holding it tight. But look, in second and third place in the white helmet colours, Steve Johnson. But now coming through on the inside is Shane Parker to make it 1 and 2. But there's going to be a battle in second place behind Craig Boyce between those two Aussies, as the man in white helmet there, Steve Johnson, locks up, and that was a great recovery by Johnson. How he came back from that, but it has given room for Shane Parker, and these two are going to battle. Johnson taken wide again, and now the second place will be dominated by Shane Parker. Steve Johnson having a battle there, PC.
Yeah, that was certainly close, wasn't it, Johnny? No doubt about that. Shane Parker and Johnson there catching one another, and there's Steve Johnson. He's pulled off the track. I really don't know what his problem is, but certainly something to do with that incident there with Shane Parker.
Into the final lap, Johnston retired, the Kings Lynn pair 1 and 2, in red Craig Boyce, in blue Shane Parker. This will be 5-1 to Kings Lynn. It's a ding-dong battle is promised here for much of the evening, but Craig Boyce in fine form there to take that ahead of his teammate and partner Shane Parker. Third place belongs to Jan Steikman. It's a 5-1 in favour of the home team Kings Lynn, who now lead by 11 points to 7 with 3 heats gone.
Obviously Jono had the run on me going into the corner, and where everybody's been riding, the dirt's come off and the base is very wet and a little bit slimy, and I went in a little bit deeper than I would have liked to, but luckily we didn't connect, and Jono picked up a bit of grip and opened up the door for me.
Well, I beg to differ there, where you did sort of connect a little bit.
Did we? Okay, that's racing. Bumping's racing, rubbing's racing.
Yeah, but neither of you fell off, obviously, but he did pull over afterwards, and he looked like he was maybe just a little bit down in the mouth about it.
I can understand that. I mean, I think he got into trouble when he hit the dirt. Obviously, I've pushed him in hard. We're both going for the same bit of racetrack, and I'm just glad we both stayed upright and didn't come off.
All right, okay, well, the referee didn't exclude anybody, so he obviously thought it was reasonably fair.
Well, let's take another look at it again, because, well, you know, we've got a chance now to see it, and you haven't. This is the first time you've seen it, so
Yep.
What do you think now you've seen it?
Well, I mean, I've sort of gone a bit straight there, and Jono's leaned over, and did we rub? Oh, yes, we did.
You sort of
Yeah, fair play, Kelv. I did touch him.
But no, I think he was actually quite lucky to stay on, but I guess in some ways, we're looking at it again there, you can see it's unintentional. It's one of those situations with a racing incident. You had a bit of room coming in.
Yeah. I think what caused the trouble for me is the fact that the top's gone off of the track and it is a little bit wet and slippery, and I laid it in to turn, and I just kept moving and moving out a little bit wider, and I mean, I'm just glad I never hit him any harder than I did.
So do you think we should give you the benefit of the doubt?
Wow, I didn't get the benefit of the doubt a couple of weeks ago, so yeah,
You see
why
now,
not?
Shane, now you've done a bit of telly work, you can see the other side of it, can't you?
I can.
We'll let you get back to the pits. And
Apart from falling off when he was leading his first race.
On the inside, Tom Madsen, the Kings in reserve, goes in blue. Gate 2, Lucas Drimmel, who did so well, coming second in reserve heat for Oxford, Gate 2. Gate 3 is Lee Adams, the number 1 here, or top rider in terms of averages for Kings Lynn. Madsen, of course, second division rider with Berwick last season. Starley Marshall, Nick Brown gets them away, gets them settled, and away they go. And on the inside, certainly in blue, Tom Madsen plays his part. A great ride by him, his teammate and partner, Lee Adams, well nigh unbeatable here down the back straight. And this could be a 5-1 for Kings Lynn unless Jason Lance could get in among them. And on form, Jason Lance ought to be able to get past Tom Madsen here, and he's struggling to do so, PC.
Yeah, he's made a bad start, actually. He seems to be riding to me very cautiously, because I think he's seen those slippery patches there on the track and decided that he's going to go cautious at first till he finds his way around, but it's really too late for him, because he's let the other riders get away on him.
Well, they're certainly going to establish a commanding lead here, will Kings Lynn, if these two win this with a maximum points haul. At the back, well, struggling is Lucas Drimmel, but Jason Lyon's failure to make ground on Tom Madsen is the surprise in this one, and with a lap to go, Kings Lynn certainly looks set for the maximum 5-1 margin, and Lee Adams is looking wheel perfect out front, and he really is an impressive rider these days. He makes his 50th appearance for Kings Lynn tonight, and it looks as if it's going to be one to celebrate, because Lee Adams in red takes the checkered flag ahead of Tom Madsen in blue. Third place goes to Jason Lyon in white. That's a 5-1 to Kings Lynn, who now lead by 16 points to 8. What a performance. They weren't expected to take maximum for Oxford. Gate 2 is Craig Boyce, so impressive in his first ride for Kings Lynn in the red helmet colours. Gate 3 we saw there Todd Wiltshire in white. On the outside, Shane Parker, who was involved in that little altercation with Steve Johnson first time out. He's into line now. Referee Jim Lawrence looking down from above. Our starting marshal walks away. The hand on the button releases the tapes and away goes Craig Boyce to be to the men first. And Craig Boyce is tracked by Todd Wiltshire. Two Sydney siders coming through in yellow. Mark Lemon will have work to do here in blue. Shane Parker is at the back of that from Adelaide. An all-Australian heat is this one. And with a lap gone, again, the Kings Lynn rider is out front. But the two Oxford men have got into second and third place in the persons of Todd Wiltshire and Mark Lemon holding off Shane Parker. Parker now in the blue helmet colour going round the outside and taking the long route and making ground and going by the unfortunate Mark Lemon there to give Kings Lynn a heat advantage. But Lemon will come back. It's tough on that bend for them, Peter.
Yeah, Shane Parker's certainly going well. He's reeling in Todd Wiltshire. He's having a go on Todd, but he's got a little bit too wide there, and that's allowed Lemon to come back at him on the inside.
Craig Boyce marches on out front. Again, Lemon having a go. It's a ding-dong battle at the rear. Shane Parker's having a go to catch Todd Wiltshire. It looks as if Todd Wiltshire in the white helmet colour is going to hold that second place, but Parker's having a go. The heat won in red by Craig Boyce. In second place in white is Todd Wiltshire. Third in blue, Shane Parker. 4 points to 2 is the heat margin in favour of the home team, Kings Lynn. For Kings Lynn, Jason Lyons, the guest for Oxford, goes from gate 2 in the white helmet colours. Jason Crump goes from gate 3 in red. On the outside, Alice Drimmel, the Czech Republic youngster, in yellow and black. And Darby Marshall sees the green line, punches away, takes fly up, but again, let's see who makes it in red. Jason Crump is there to the bend. In his tracks goes Travis McGowan, but this time Jason Lyons is coming round the outside. Travis McGowan is lifting, Lyons is keeping it down, and now Lyons is picking up a different line to set out in pursuit of Jason Crump, but McGowan is matching him wheel for wheel, and McGowan has come through, the youngster showing his true talent here, and this is going to be another 5-1 to Kingston if it stays like this, and still it's not going right for Jason Lyons.
Oh no, what a ride there from Travis McGowan. We've seen Travis for the last couple of years here at Kingston. He came as a raw youngster last year, and certainly is maturing into a fantastic rider. To go by Jason Lyons like that, he really is going well and getting to grips with this Kingston track. Travis
McGowan has ridden in 35 Elite League meetings and only failed to score once, but there now with Jason Lyons in white coming through. He's pushed him wide. Travis McGowan a mistake, and now Travis McGowan is struggling at the back, and Alice Drimmel might even catch him, but Jason Crump in red is going to take his second checkered flag of the night. And it means that every time a heat leader has ridden for Kings Lynn so far, they have won the heat. Second place going in white to Jason Lyons. Third in blue is Travis McGowan. That's another 4-2 to Kings Lynn, who've had a heat advantage in all bar one so far. They lead by 24 points to 12 with 6 heats gone, and Martin goes on the inside in white in this one. Gate 2 is Lee Adams in red, the almost unbeatable rider, top of the Elite League averages in Britain here at the moment in red for Kings Lynn. Gate 3 is Jan Stakeman, the Dane for Oxford, and on the outside, Steve Masters, the reserve. The Polish Grand Prix on Saturday, Lee Adams, and looking good here tonight. Our Starling Marshall moves away, and away he goes once again. Lee Adams looking in a class of his own as he goes into that bend and stretches the lead as he comes out of it. His teammate Steve Masters is at the back. Steve Johnson in the white helmet colour and Jan Stakeman in the yellow for Oxford will get a share of the points here behind Lee Adams unless anything goes radically wrong, which would make a 3-all, but that doesn't close the gap. And Lee Adams out front, Peter, is in fine form.
Yeah, that bike is really working well, there's no doubt. I mean, just look at the lead that he's got there. I mean, he's riding with the bike as upright as possible to get all that tread onto the track, and he works that bike all the way around the turn. That back tyre there, we saw that really pulling that grip there, and he's just pulling away from the field.
Well, Lee Adams looking set to be the 6-heat winner for Kings Lynn out of 7 heats here as they go into the last lap here. In second place is Steve Johnson in white, struggling somewhat with his teammate Jens Stakeman, but they are staying ahead of Steve Masters, and this will provide a share of the points. At least Oxford have got a share of the points in this one, with Lee Adams winning it in red, ahead of in white Steve Johnson. In yellow is Jan Stakeman. 3 points apiece the heat score. 27.15 now. Madsen, the reserve for Kings Lynn. Gate 3, Mark Lemon for Oxford in white on the outside. Travis McGowan, the youngster, who's been pretty impressive so far. Look along the line there. Starting Marshall moves away. The spectators look on closely and away they go. And Steve Johnson does exactly what his manager wanted. The tactical substitute is out front. His teammate and partner was in second place, Mark Lemon, but now he's giving best to Tom Madsen, the reserve, who is flying tonight for Kings Lynn. The Dane Tom Madsen is producing the goods here, Peter, and what a ride into second place.
He's certainly riding well, but Steve Johnson made a great start there, but important factor is also that Mark Lemon's in there. Mark is still challenging for that second place, so it certainly isn't over yet for Oxford.
The disappointment, Travis McGowan has been riding so well. He's right at the back in the red helmet colours there, but way out front in yellow, Steve Johnson showing just what might have been early on. They can close the gap slightly here, but there's still work to do for the Oxford Cheetahs, as going into the final lap is Steve Johnston, their captain and tactical substitute in this in yellow. In blue in second place is Tom Madsen, and I have to say that Mark Lemon is making little ground to close that gap, because surely now, with a checkered flag at his sights in yellow, Steve Johnson is first heat winner of the night. In second place in blue is Tom Madsen. Third in white is Mark Lemon. That is 4 points to 2 in favour of the visitors from Oxford. Their second heat advantage of the night. It's now Kings Lynn 20.
At the start a bit better, it's a lot easier from the front.
Yeah, it is. But you need some points now. Oxford are a long way behind.
Yeah, they hit us so quick to start with. I think the boys were still there bloody opening their eyes wondering what had happened. So now we're just going to try and pull it back. Todd should be right now. I think the track to start with, not making excuses at all because it's the same for everyone, but it looked quite grippy, and when you ran into the stuff it was very patchy, so you're waiting for something to happen, and 1 minute it'd grip and then it'd be slick, and that's how I mucked up in the first one, but it's getting better and should be all right for all of us.
Do you feel you can turn it around? Because they're a strong outfit obviously, but in your team you've got race winners, yourself, Todd, Jason Lyons.
Yeah, I'd like to think we can turn it around. You never want to say that you're not going to win, and we'll try our hardest, but realistically, like you say, they've been a really good team this year. They're very good at home. I wouldn't like to bet my house on that we're going to come back and do something special, but as long as we can keep the score good and make it look good, I think we can do a lot better than what we've been doing.
Okay. Is it too slick for a golden?
With the right person, but it depends what race you're going to do it in. I mean, if you think you're going to come from the back and sort of pass Boise off 15 or
tough one, isn't it?
Or do Crumpy or Lee or something like that. I mean, even the reserves are going good from tonight. So I think this track's pretty quick and the home guys are going quick. So I don't know if it's possible to do that.
Well, you're doing your bit, and well done to you. We'll let you get back.
The guest goes from the inside gate for Oxford in white. Gate 2, Shane Parker, the Aussie from Adelaide, in the blue helmet colours. Todd Wiltshire from Sydney goes in yellow and black. That's for Oxford. On the outside, another Sydney-sider, Craig Boyce in the red helmet colours. Lyons and Wiltshire, their men. They're against two tough cookies in Craig Boyce and Shane Parker. Away goes the starting marshal. Away on the inside in white goes Jason Lyons. Boyce is coming round the outside. Wiltshire has work to do at the back. Coming through on the inside now is Shane Parker, and I think somehow the men for Kings Lynn. Whoa, look at that coming through. What a ride by Todd Wiltshire to cut inside the totally unprepared Boyce.
He certainly did. Boyce was there. Thought he got a safe third, but certainly Todd Wiltshire just dived for that inside line, and he was right in there and certainly took that third place away from Craig Boyce.
Boyce, we're perfect until this point, is going to have to battle back, but he won't win this one, because out front Jason Lyons is producing the sort of form that Oxford were looking for when they booked him as a guest, and now the race is on for Todd Wiltshire to try and close the gap on Shane Parker with a lap and a quarter to go. He's making ground, but I don't somehow think there's time to do it. Out front Jason Lyons looks set to win this one, but look at the effort from Shane Parker. Parker too is going to press Lyons all the way round with a quarter of the lap to go, but in white the heat is going to be won. A magnificent performance by that man Jason Lyons. In second place in blue is Shane Parker. Third in yellow and black is Todd Wiltshire. Another 4 points to 2 as they chip away at that lead, and it's now 31-23 in favour of Kings Lynn. They lead by 8 points, but what a ride by Jason Lyons in the white helmet colours, winning that ahead of Shane Parker, and Todd goes for Oxford. Gate 2, the 19-year-old Aussie from Kings Lynn in the blue helmet colours. Gate 3, Steve Johnston, the Oxford captain from Kalgoorlie in Western Australia. He goes in the white helmet colours. And Jason Crump, the man who now lives in the Gold Coast, a lovely part of Australia. He goes on the outside. In first to that lead. Starling Marshall walks away. Crump doesn't make it because was inside him, all three riders, and now he'll have to go through on the inside, and does. Look at a brilliant ride by Jason Crump from last to first in some 60 metres coming out of that bend, and the Kings Lynn fans are ecstatic. They're going absolutely mad as Crump looks back for his teammate Travis McGowan, and now Team Racing will in fact surpass here. Crump's looking back, a brilliant ride by the Aussie who was born in Bristol, his father a great rider Phil Crump, his grandfather the Aussie team manager, and Jason Crump, a chip off the old block, is going brilliantly. The crowd are loving this one. We can see them in the background there. The Kings Lynn fans know this will surely put the meeting out of reach of Oxford. What a ride by Jason Crump.
Yeah, that's useful exuberance, that, Tony. What a fabulous first corner. The way Jason can ride that bike. He's been brought up with his family. His granddad Neil Street was a real good rider, and his father Phil was a good rider in my time, but he's certainly the best of the bunch.
Takes the checkered flag now, the wheelie to celebrate, a wheel celebration that, because a 5-1 victory for Kings Lynn makes it 36.
Well, the start was terrible actually, but halfway to the first corner I thought, well, I'm wasting my time trying to go around the guys because there's just not enough grip tonight.
Well, let's take a look at it again, because as you said, you didn't actually get the best of starts, but look at this first turn.
Yeah, well, about there I just thought I had nothing to lose. I could see Jan was going to try and push Trav out, and there was a gap right there, and all I needed was for Trav to move Jono over like he did, and we were away. And I think you'll agree, Trav, that once I moved out and you cut back to the inside, I think we were a better pair
There's a few hand signals down the straight, I noticed.
It was definitely working better. I didn't quite have the speed around the outside, but Jason was a little bit quicker and making it work, and it definitely was better on the inside for me.
Yeah, you must be feeling pretty good though, Travis, because you're having a good night tonight, and generally your form here at Kings Lynn is excellent.
Yeah, consistency is what I'm after, and I have been getting a little bit of consistency, and that's what you got to do. You got to make sure you're scoring at home.
Right.
I was going to say, I mean, you must be pinching yourself. This is only your second season. You're a very young man, but what a team to be in. You're right next to the big man here, sixth in the world at the moment, knocking them all dead, and full of Aussies. You must be loving it.
Well, it can't get any better, can it?
Not really. Well, what about a win tonight, Jason? You're on for it, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Trav's done a great job in number 2. Always a hard number. He's probably one of his easier rides tonight. Heat 80, they put a tactical out, which made it tough for him, and the rest of the guys are pulling together, and I sense a Kings Lynn victory, so let's keep it going.
Well, they're unbeaten.
In place of Mark Lemon, Gate 3, Steve Masters, the reserve is yet to score for Kings Lynn from his 2 previous rides, and on the outside, Todd Wiltshire is the man who for Oxford, well, they'll be looking for a heat go unbeaten tonight. Already 2 races, 2 wins for him. The way he goes on the inside, he's fast, he's furious. Todd Wiltshire's coming across from the outside, but Lee Adams has pole position here, and Lee Adams down the back straight. This will allow Oxford only to get a share of the points because Steve Masters is at the back. Alice Dremmel is in 3rd place, and Todd Wiltshire in white is in pursuit of Lee Adams, but Lee Adams is brilliant, PC.
Yeah, he really loves this track, there's no doubt. He's just flowing out there, really going well, but Todd Wiltshire's having a real good go, but certainly he's got no answer there to Lee Adams. Lee is just riding where he wants.
We saw Lee Adams, of course, in action at the weekend in the Grand Prix. What an impressive rider he is these days. The man from Mildura down the back straight ahead of Todd Wiltshire from Sydney. 3rd place in yellow, that's Alice Dremmel. Way at the back now in blue there is Steve Masters. A little out of his class tonight in this meeting. He's not going well for the man who makes many of the helmets for these other riders. Down the back straight, Lee Adams in front in the red helmet colours, set to win this one. Ahead of him, 2nd place in white, Todd Wiltshire. 3rd in yellow and black, that is Alice Dremmel. A share of the points at 3 all. It's now Kings Lynn 39, Oxford 27. It's still a 12-point margin now with 4 heats to go. Really in command are the home team, the Kings Lynn Knights, and that man Lee Adams has produced his 3rd successive heat victory for Kings Lynn. Craig Boyce with 2 heat wins out of his 3 rides so far on the inside. Lucas Dremmel replaces his brother at reserve. Lucas, the younger of the 2, the 19-year-old. Kings Lynn's Tom Madsen goes from gate 3, their reserve in blue, and on the outside it's Steve Johnson, the Oxford captain, who's had just about everything. Well, we'll have to see whether Craig Boyce can do just that as our starting marshal moves away. Nick Brown goes out of the way, and away go the riders, and Craig Boyce does make it, but look on the inside. Now it's Lucas Dremmel is going to try and make ground, but coming through in blue, but blocked there is Tom Madsen by the movement of Lucas Dremmel coming out of that bend, but nobody's going to touch Craig Boyce out front because he's got the space he wanted, the line he wanted, and now the Sydney side is away, Peter.
Yeah, certainly, but Tom Madsen's having a good go here, but now Steve Johnson's back in the picture. Steve Johnson's just picked up that 3rd place, or certainly having a go.
Sending Madsen wide. Johnson will try and pick it up coming through on the inside and does into 3rd place to get a share of the points. points if it stays like this for the Oxford Cheetahs, but Craig Boyce in the red helmet colours is looking for his third heat victory in 4 rides tonight and looks set to get it with a lap and a quarter to go. In yellow, surprisingly, is Lucas Drimmel. A great ride by him into second place. Steve Johnston is third, and it should be a share of the points, and this will be for the third time tonight the points have been shared if it stays like this. But disappointment at the back, but Tom Madsen, who's ridden well up until now, but Craig Boyce is good enough easily to win this one, ahead of in second place in yellow Lucas Drimmel. Third in white is Steve Johnston. That's 3 points apiece, the share of the points in that one. It's now Kings Lynn 42, Oxford 30. 12 points in it with 3 heats to go. Oxford. Gate 2 for Kings Lynn is held by Jason Crump with 3 wins to his name out of 3 and a great Grand Prix performance behind him Saturday in Wroclaw. For Oxford, the guest, Jason Lyons, goes in yellow from Gate 3. And on the outside, it's Lee Adams. And Lee Adams with 3 heat wins from 3 rides tonight is leader in red. Captain Lee Adams. Away to go on the inside in white. A great start by Todd Wiltshire, sending Crump wide, but coming through in blue is Lee Adams. The beat in the sandwich because trouble for Todd Wiltshire. Crump is back in third, but out front is Lee Adams, and Adams going great guns. Oh, sparks flying there, and something very wrong with Todd Wiltshire there because they touched. It was Jason Crump that touched him. Todd Wiltshire knows there's something wrong, and this will now decide the meeting, because if it stays like this, certainly Kings Lynn cannot be beaten here tonight. Down the Hunt Straight, half the race gone. In front, Lee Adams looking for his 4th heat victory of the night. Jason Crump is in second place. Jason Lyons is third. Real disappointment for Todd Wiltshire. We're going to no doubt hear and see more about wide. And in blue there is Lee Adams, leading down the back straight there, and certainly as the riders came close there, danger threatening the cameras, but in blue, a great heat victory for Lee Adams. 4 in a row for him. Jason Crump in red takes second place. Third in yellow is Jason Lyons. That's 5 points to 1 to Kings Lynn. It ensures them a victory here tonight. They lead by 47 points to
chains. The foot certainly seemed to bounce there, or possibly those sparks may have come out from the front of the engine. So we've either got a major blow up from the engine, or the chain has just let go. We can see it as Jason goes past on the inside. Todd moves out of the way, straightens the bike up, and then we have all those sparks, and that is either the front of the engine that's gone or the chain.
We see it here. Jason's got a very tight line. They come very close. He doesn't touch him, and now we see all that chain jamming in around the clutch and sparks flying everywhere. But it was a nasty one there for Todd. It could have, sometimes you can straighten up and your teammates alongside you, and the next minute you're in a great big crash. There we go.
Here's the lineup for Heat 14. Tom Madsen goes in blue for Kings Lynn from the inside. Jan Stakeman, the Dane for Oxford, goes from Gate 2. Shane Parker for Kings Lynn goes in red from Gate 3. And on the outside, the guest for Oxford, he's now in as a tactical substitute, which means that he in Britain here tonight. Starting marshal walks away for this lead penultimate heat the way they do. That's a flyer for Tom Madsen, just the start he wanted. But look at Jan Stakeman producing his best ride of the night at the moment. And on his outside is Jason Lyons, and this will close the gap for the Oxford Cheetahs. And quite a move this to bring in as a tactical substitute Jason Lyons, because it will help their cause if these two can team ride out front. And certainly Jan Stakeman made his best start of the night, but they're now being put under pressure by Shane Parker.
Yeah, it's all going to be about team riding if they can hold on to this position, because they've got Shane Parker really having a big go. Now, if the two Oxford boys can ride side by side here, although they've already messed it up, because you can see that Parker's really having a go here up the inside.
He is here, and he's going to try and take his man wide, Jan Stakeman, but Stakeman closes the gate, and Parker will have to keep trying with a lap to go. Parker can close that gap, but at the moment, the two Oxford riders are making the scoreline a great deal more respectable and giving themselves a chance at the bonus point when the return is raced down at Oxford. But with a quarter of a lap to go, it's going to be 1 and 2. In yellow, it's Jason Lyons. In white, his partner is Jan Stakeman. Third in red there is Shane Parker. That's 5 points to 1 to the visitors, and only the second time they produced that scoreline here tonight. It's Kings Lynn 48, Oxford 36 with 1 heat to go. That's the big one, but what a performance goes for Kings Lynn in that position. Gate 2, Jason Lyons, the guest rider for Oxford. Gate 3, Jason Crump, the man who the lads were talking about, 3 Grand Prix victories, going for a paid maximum here tonight. And on the outside, Steve Johnson, the Oxford captain.
It's the big one because you've got all the top point scorers in it.
Yes, heat 15, away we go. The starting marshal walks away up by the tape for the last heat of the night. And the Kings Lynn pair go to the apex. Jason Crump in blue. In red, it's Lee Adams. Adams picks it up inside Crump. And now I don't think anybody would touch them. Steve Johnson, a distant third in white. At the rear, in yellow and black, we see Jason Lyons, who's been something of a disappointment compared with his top form recently in the British League. But down the back straight go these two Aussies, and it's going to be celebration time for them because both will get maximum. One paid, one true maximum, maybe both paid maximum, depending on which one wins it. But what a ride by these two, Peter.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, this is a real quick team ride. I mean, they're riding close together, but the inside one should drop back a little bit. The outside one should lead, but the speed that they're going, I mean, this is really fast team riding, no doubt.
World Team Cup to come at Coventry on September the 17th, live with us, and these two will be two of the stars for the holders from Australia. But here they come to take the checkered flag. Two great Aussies, one in blue by Jason Crump, ahead of in red, Lee Adams. Third in white is Steve Johnston, 5 points to 1, just as they started for the home team, who win by 53 points to 37. And I can tell you, for Lee Adams there in the red helmet colours, it's his 50th maximum or paid maximum in the British League. For Jason Crump, it's another maximum paid for him. A great performance by these two, each paid 15 points, and they show now why they are leading Kings Lynn towards possible glory this year. The Kings Lynn fans are enjoying this, and certainly those two riders have produced the goods and rewarded the fans for their patience and the